Well guys, Intel woke up and realized they could get 20% free performance by simply changing two settings in the BIOS. And so they did it. Now welcome back at ImWateringPSUs, and my channel is mostly known for undervolting and overclocking guides, other than for washing PC hardware and doing strange mods, of course. But most of you guys are here for my guides. Now the comment I get the most under my guides is, but if it is so easy, why aren't Intel, AMD or Nvidia doing this out of the box in terms of changing the settings? And while the answer to this question can usually be very long, because it takes into account production defects and basically how if we only get another 0.1% of bad cards to be able to be sold into the market, there is a massive extra profit for these companies, but also how they have to ensure that these settings are going to work even on the worst motherboard with the worst cooler. And basically the answer can be very long, but in short, sometimes it is just too good to be ignored, and it's what happened with Intel with the new Intel Core Ultra CPUs. And they woke up and released a feature in the BIOS called Intel 200S Boost. If you followed my tutorials for Intel, you do not need to go and change anything, because they are literally copying my settings. Now I'm not claiming they're using my settings, of course, because everyone in the enthusiast overclocking community knew that if you just changed the values of the D2D and the NGU multiplier to 32 or 33, you were getting over 10% free performance, because that is where the Intel architecture was lacking. Basically, we had too much latency since it is no longer a monolithic design. So by increasing those speeds, the components of the CPU communicate faster and you do get free performance. And that was working on every single CPU ever. You didn't even have to test it. It was working on every single one of them. Every single one I tried, and I try a lot of CPUs. So Intel just released the BIOS update, and if you have the latest BIOS, you can just go ahead, enable it with one click and have the same exact performance. What they also did is they put the new standard of DDR5 to 8000 MHz, because now Intel is like AMD was quite a few days back, where it relied a lot on memory for the Infinity Fabric to make it work. And now Intel is the same. So if you do want to beat the previous gen of Intel and Ryzen 9000, what you need is high-speed RAM. I made a whole video about it. I have full tweaking guides on how to increase the speed on your RAM. But basically what you want ideally is 8000 MHz RAM. If it is CUDIM RAM, even better, but 8000 MHz is the key. Now couple all of this, which is a simple one on and off setting in the BIOS now, if you update your BIOS, with all the tweaks they've done on the OS, because we also had a lot of issues with the operating system, where at launch Windows was just not using these CPUs correctly. So now we have scheduler patched, we have a ton of other stuff fixed. If you do have Intel 200S Boost plus the free gains which you're getting via the OS, you're now getting my numbers tested, and I can put my name on it, 25% more performance compared to stock at launch performance on these new Intel CPUs, which means they're now faster than 14th gen counterparts. They're now destroying AMD in productivity, which they were already winning, and they now beat easily every non-X3D chip from AMD, and they actually get pretty close even to the X3D chip, even though in certain games, you know, AMD did something magical with the X3D cache. So if you have a game which utilizes 3D V cache, you're still out of luck with Intel. But this changes completely the product. The reason why even at launch I wasn't too negative on Intel, well, I was negative about like the company, but not about the product, because the product is actually good. The problem is you had to tweak it. So it is a product which, if you sell in a pre-built, or if you sell to someone which doesn't know what to do with them or doesn't want to do stuff with their CPUs, then it was not a good product. But now it is a lot better. I still think it needs to be default. Like 200S Boost, you need to be able to have it on default. The problem probably is with the RAM still, because they want you to have high-speed RAM. But if it was default, it would be ideal, because then everyone would have a massive uplift in their performance. And now the launch makes sense, because we have something that goes a little bit faster than previous gen, but that is a lot cooler, a lot more efficient, and it is the next step up for Intel to finally compete again with AMD, which we needed, and to finally fix the thermal problems and all the degradation issue which we had with 13th and 14th gen on Intel. So I just wanted to make a video about it, because I thought it was pretty cool that my undervolting settings are now used in the official Intel BIOS profile. And I also wanted to let you know that if you do have a stock Intel CPU, you're missing out. So I recommend you either go and do some manual undervolting like I show, or you enable the Intel 200S boost. If you do have 8000 MHz RAM, it's definitely worth it, and it's gonna make your PC a lot faster. Also, Intel is a viable choice to buy, I think, for the right person. For productivity, if you don't want the edge in competitiveness, it has its reasons, okay? It's not a bad socket anymore. It never has been, but now it doesn't require manual tuning for it to be decent, which is what we wanted. So with that said, I also want to hear if you guys have an Intel system from the Core Ultra series, LGA 1851. How has it been going for you? Let me know down below in the comments. Let me know if you like it so far. Let me know if you regret the purchase. And I hope to see you guys in another video as well. Bye bye.